What's going on, guys? Today we're going over 7 key ideas that will help you if you are in the early stages of starting a business. They come from the book The Lean Startup by Eric Rice. If you like videos about business, money, and psychology, make sure to subscribe and hit the bell button to not miss any of our value-packed videos. And let's get started. One of the main principles the book focuses on is that the strategies of a big company are not ideal for a starting new business. A big mistake new startups make is to try to replicate what a big corporation does. The problem here, according to Rice, is that a big company has a different set of motives and different circumstances than a startup. A big corporation typically has a lot of resources and an established customer base and shareholders. A small company typically doesn't have a large consumer base, little resources, and chances are there is only one owner. While big companies spend billions of dollars to create a positive image for shareholders, a startup is just looking to make its first million. So if you're starting a new business, your job isn't to see what Intel is doing. Your job is to find a business model that is both profitable and sustainable. Your new company needs to find a way to consistently and systematically acquire new customers. In other words, your job is to find a way to consistently sell your product. The first job of a startup is to find a sustainable business model. In order to start developing a good business model, we must understand 2 basic principles: what the customer wants and how to sell it to them. This sounds simple, but like anything in business, there is always more to it. One of the most effective ways to do this is to test your theory in a real-life scenario. Take the story of the company Zappos. It started with a simple hypothesis that people would be willing to buy their shoes online. So to test this idea, the company took photographs of shoes in shoe stores and used them in a fake online shoe store. When people actually tried to buy the shoes online, Zappos saw that their business plan worked without spending much of their resources, and their hypothesis was validated by real-life customers. The business was so successful that Zappos was bought by Amazon for $1.2 billion in 2009. And according to Forbes, the company now generates over $2 billion in revenue per year. Number 3. Stop being a caveman. A mistake many startups make is working on isolation for a long period of time to build and polish their products. This can be a huge problem because in order to make a sustainable business model, we must quickly find out whether there is any demand for the product we are creating. Otherwise, we might be spending time and resources to build a product that no one is interested in. The quickest and easiest way to get real-world feedback is to create what is called an MVP, or minimal viable product. This MVP should be simple and should contain only what is needed to give the customers a realistic expectation of what the full product will do. Sort of a prototype of your product to draw useful information and feedback from your customers. Here you can validate 2 things. 1, that your product actually brings value to your customers, and 2, that the market actually wants your product. Take Dropbox, for example. They know that developing their idea would take a lot of time and resources, so they created a video presenting their idea and a sign-up page for the product waiting list. Within one night, over 75,000 people signed up to their waiting list. With this information, they could confidently start developing their product. Another great example was Tim Ferris. When he was writing his book, The Hour Workweek, he did 2 interesting things. He actually had people give feedback as he was writing the book. And 2, he actually paid for Google Ads to see which title would get the most clicks on the purchase button. Even though he wasn't selling the book yet and the buyers weren't actually charged anything, he found out what title gave him the best chance of selling the book. So being able to test your idea before you spend your time and resources building the product, you'll be able to create a successful business much easier. Number 4. Use the BML Cycle. In order to build a great product, you can adopt the BML Cycle, which stands for Build, Measure, and Learn. For example, you want to create a product, so you launch a beta trial, a prototype of the product, the minimal viable product. product. Then you take the product to the market and gather customer feedback, like testing which title for your book gets the most clicks on the purchase button. Then you take that information, learn what it means, and use it to build your product better. By understanding the data and even talking to your customers, you can get a better understanding of your customer's impression of your product. Now, launching this prototype or beta trial does not mean that you can't make any money in the process. You can actually sell this beta trial for a reduced price until you learn enough information to go into the next step, which is optimization. This brings you back to the beginning of the cycle. You build an optimized version of your product to make it better. Think of the iPhone. Almost every year, Apple has released a new version of the iPhone with new and improved features. As we can see, they adapt the BML cycle. They build the product, measure user feedback, and learn what they can do better. And best of all, they have been selling and profiting from their iPhones since the first version was made. The more loops you make on the BML cycle, the more likely you are to build a great product and a more sustainable business model. Now, when improving your product, your website, your marketing, or even the pricing, it's always good to test whether the changes are actually effective. A new business's job is to make more sales and increase revenue. According to Rice, any changes that do not do either of those things are a waste of resources. A new business does not have the resources to spend on things that do not help the bottom line. A good way to test whether a change will help the bottom line or not is through split testing. For example, Tim Ferris, with his book The 4-Hour Workweek, had several names that he tested, so he ran ads with those different names to see which of them would get the most buy now clicks. As we know now, the winner was The 4-Hour Workweek. Number 5. Don't be a zombie. There is a mentality among entrepreneurs that to make a successful business, we have to push through a lot of challenges and hardships, that an entrepreneur needs to have a lot of perseverance and an unshakable will. Although that is true, this could be misinterpreted to ignore feedback and keep hard selling a product that the market does not want. To avoid being part of this living dead of mindless zombies selling the wrong product, it might be a good idea to ask ourselves, how can I change my product to fit what the market wants, instead of the other way around? You might be passionate about your product, but if the market does not want it, you won't be able to sell it. At the end of the day, what matters is what the market wants, not what the entrepreneur thinks they need. A good example of this is Groupon. Groupon started as an activism platform, but was later developed as the daily deals platform we know it as today, based on the market's feedback. Number 6. Growth. Now that we have a business up and running and making profits, we gotta start thinking about growing it. Rice mentions 3 types of growth strategies new businesses can use to achieve expansion. Number 1. Retaining customers. Here, instead of investing more resources into marketing and developing more traffic, we focus on maximizing revenues from existing customers. This is done by encouraging customers to use the product more often, offering new features, or encouraging the purchase of new products within the company. Think about a restaurant. Most people go to a restaurant, get their food, pay, and leave, and that is it. But what if a business offers a free appetizer for the next time they come back? Now they are turning a single transaction into an ongoing relationship. By taking advantage of the existing customer base, we are able to increase revenues without adding the extra expense for client acquisition. Number 2. The viral strategy. This is where we get current customers to take care of the company's marketing. This is where awareness of the product or the business spreads among your market through word of mouth. A great example of this is the iPhone. Whenever someone sent an email from their iPhones, Apple had a default message at the bottom of the email that said, "Send from my iPhone." Or even in the early days of Facebook, whenever someone would post from their iPhone, there was a little message that said, "Via iPhone." And today, social media is becoming a powerful tool for this type of marketing, as people share your business to others who might also be interested in what you have to offer. Number 3. Good old paid advertising. This is where you pay to bring awareness and sell your product. Now, there are ways of paid advertising, things like billboards, radio, television, print ads, and so on. But now, we have other advertising platforms over the internet like Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Google, or influencers that can be more targeted and effective if done correctly. Of course, this is if the startup has an advertising budget and the cost per acquisition is lower than the transaction value. The goal for the startup with paid advertisement isn't to build brand awareness, but to sell a product that makes more than what they spent advertising it. Brand awareness will come as a side effect of that. Now, of course, you can use all three strategies for growth at the same time, but Rice recommends to first focus on the one that brings the fastest and most effective results. And number 7, metrics. As you grow your business, it is important to keep track and analyze all of your metrics, from customer acquisition cost to purchase value, all the way to user behavior based on age, gender, and the lifetime of the customer can give you great information to make educated decisions and give you a better understanding of what is working and what is not. Developing a startup or a new business is no easy task, but learning a few key ideas can make this process much easier. So let's go over the main ideas of this video again. 1. Find a sustainable business model, learning what customers want and how to sell it to them. Number 2. Validate your business model with real-life feedback. Develop your MVP, the minimal viable product. Number 3. Build, measure, and learn, the BML cycle. Number 4. Don't be part of the living dead. Give the market what it wants. Number 5. Test effectiveness and avoid waste. Number 6. Use the strategies for growth and pick the one that brings the fastest and most effective results. And number 7. Always keep track of your metrics to learn what is working and what is not. And if you're starting a business and you are not using Skillshare to learn and develop new skills, then you are missing out. Skillshare, which is the sponsor of this video, is a learning platform where experts in specific fields share their skills so others can benefit from them. From learning how to set up an online business, or using social media to learning how to advertise, or even how to keep track of your business metrics, there are courses in just about everything that we talked about in this video. A great course that I am currently taking is Context is Key in Social Media by Gary Vaynerchuk, and one that I highly recommend. But that's not all. If you're more of an artist, there are watercolor classes, filmmaking classes, animation classes. If you want to make a cool graphic design for a t-shirt or even to start your own business, there are courses for that too. Skillshare has an annual subscription costing less than $10 per month, but today, for being here, you will get access to 2 whole months of Skillshare Premium for free. That's right, all you have to do is click on the first link in the description of this video to activate your 2 free months of Skillshare Premium. So whether you're looking to start a business to learn some skills and give you an edge over the competition, or you're just wanting to build fun and useful skills, now you can do it for free. And I will see you in the next video.